Hey, what's up? It's John. Hope you're doing well. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can change some styling of your header based on this when someone scrolls the page. So you'll see that there. As I scroll the page, my header has this pink background now. The fonts got smaller. The logo got smaller. When I hover over it, it turns purple here. The box shadow changes color to purple. So yes, I'll show you how to do this now. This is pretty standard on Divi's default menu header system. And so in a future update, we are going to make these options in the modules. But for now, they're not there. So I'll show you how you can easily do this. All right, so I'm in the theme builder header for this menu, and you'll see that I have a section here that has a background that with 10%, and I think actually I want that to be 10% black. So let me go ahead and do that. And then the only thing I did with this section, I mean, I cleared out. I put padding 20 pixels top and bottom, and then I gave it an ID of header scroll. This is important. We definitely want this to have an ID of header scroll, just like that. And then the rest of this is pretty basic. The row, I'm doing a 100% row, two gutter width here. And then I'm zeroing out the padding on top and bottom. And then in this first column here that holds the logo, I'm just giving it a 2% on the left, so it comes out a little bit. And then on this column that holds the inline menu module, I'm giving it a 1% right, just so it kind of hangs out over here a little bit. And that's it. And so the rest of that's the setup. The rest of it is in this code module here. And I'll make this code. You can download it. And if I were you, I wouldn't put it in a code module on this inside of the theme builder header. The reason I'm doing this is because this demo site has tons of different demos in it, and it's got like I'll show you here. It has a lot of different headers in there for all these demos, and so that's why I suggest not putting it in there. Let me go back into this particular header. Where I would put it, actually, let me bounce out of this. Where I would put it is theme options here. So down here in theme options, this is where I would put the CSS. So the CSS here is everything in between this opening style tag and this closing style. So I would just copy all this right here, all of that, and then hop over here, paste it, and then get rid of the style there, and then get rid of the closing style. You don't need it because Divi knows that this is CSS. And I would save that there. I'm not going to do this because this code is specific to this one demo page I'm working on, and I don't want this code to be applied site-wide, but 99% of the websites you will want it like this. And then the rest of this code right here, from this script to the closing script, this right here you would put in your integration area. You want to make sure your header code is turned on, and you would paste that right there. And then down here, save it. Again, I don't want this to go on every page, so I'm going to take it off. But your website, you're gonna want that to happen. So, but let's talk about this code, and then we'll show you how I'm using it. We'll start with the jQuery here. So it's saying, hey, when the document's loaded and ready, when the page is loaded and ready to go, if someone scrolls 100 pixels, once they've scrolled 100 pixels, then find the header scroll ID, which is the header scroll ID again, is the section that our header is in. We gave it the ID header scroll here. So go find that section. When someone scrolls 100 pixels, go find this section and add a class to it. Add this scrolled class. Otherwise, if they haven't scrolled 100, or if they're underneath 100, don't have that class on there. And so let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to inspect this here. And you'll see here we have our section. It's got that ID header scroll. And in the classes, I do not see the scrolled. But if I scroll, once I scroll 100, then you see it adds scrolled right there. Now you'll see if I scroll up, it takes it away. And you'll see when it adds it, a bunch of things happen to our header. Now, one cool thing about this is we can decide like, well, hey, maybe I don't want this to kick in until down here. Like, I actually kind of like this hovering over here. So what we could say, all right, let's measure that out. Let's say, looks to be about 560. So let's change that to say, hey, once they've scrolled 560, and you might have to play around with this number. It might not be exactly this, but let's go ahead and try it. It might be less than 560 probably, but let's give it a shot. Let me say this again. Let me pause and see what's going on here. Okay, figured it out. I had accidentally, when I wrote 560, it actually wrote it right here and messed up my script tag. And that's why it crashed my page. So anyway, all right. So let's see now if we get down to 560. Okay, so it's a little past what I want. So I see how that's working. So I actually want it to do it right here. I'm not going to try to get it. I am going to try to get it because I am OCD, right? So right about there. That's great. Let's see where that gets us. So that's 86. So I need to do 560 minus 86. That's 474. All right, let's do that. 474. And we'll save it. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. That's great. Okay, so let's go back and look at this code some more. So now it's saying, hey, at 474 pixels, add the scrolled, otherwise remove it. Okay, cool. So what all are we doing? This body padding top 0, I actually don't even know if we need that. Let me go see if we need that. Oh, yeah, we do. That's going to make it so that this get all the way up. So we do need that in there. That's what that's doing. Header scroll, I'm adding this transition. That's just making sure that when it does transition, everything is smooth and not just all of a sudden. So that's what that line is doing. And here I'm saying, hey, when the header scroll does get that class added, after 474 pixels, when it does get it added, let's take the background color and make it this color here, which is this reddish color, reddish pink color. Let's give it a box shadow using the same color at 75%, 80 for the blur. And then instead of it having the padding top and bottom of 20 that we gave it here, let's lessen that to 5, and so it's going to shrink, right? In fact, if this might be a little too tight for my taste, I might change this to 10. And then this is just extra. You don't need this, but this is saying, hey, when I hover over the header scroll, while it has this class, while it's in its smaller state, change the background color from that red pink color to this purple one, and change the box shadow to this purple one here. And I don't need these zeros. There we go. Interesting. So that's what all that is doing there. And now then it's saying, hey, while the header scroll has the scrolled, go into my inline menu, into the navigation, go to the links, and change their font size from the 21 that's set here down to 16, and let's do that in a smooth way. So it doesn't do it all of a sudden. Let's do that in a smooth way. And then lastly, when its header scroll has that scrolled class, go into my logo, and let's change the max width from 150 down to 100, and then let's give it a little padding on the top to help center it in the menu, and let's do this in a smooth way. So that's the entire code walkthrough there, and let's check our final code and see how we like it. The only thing I changed is I gave it a little more breathing room when we go down, which I do like that better. Let me see if my 22, 23, great. And let me just look and confirm on that. So div ID, header scroll, yeah, padding top and bottom is 10 now. And you can kind of mess around with these to see where you would like it. Like that's a little too tall for me, but 5 was a little too slim. Oh, that looks pretty good. You know, if I was really picky, I'd probably go in and change it to 8. But I'm going to leave it at 5 actually, so because that's what I originally showed. So I'll change that in the code, and that'll be in the final version of the code that you download. But that's the end of this tutorial. I hope that and you could go crazier too. If you know CSS, you could say, well, hey, when it's scrolled, you know, right now this submenu is the same as this 16 here that we set, but maybe I want that to be even smaller. Maybe I want the submenus to be 14, and so you can totally do that. Or if you're using one of the menu button features in which I'll show you an example of that. There's a different tutorial video on it, but if you're using one of the button features, and you want to, you know, change the color when it scrolls of the button, you could do that through CSS as well. But again, the main part of this, having the background, having the section shrink, the font shrink, the logo shrink like default Divi menu does, we're bringing that functionality into these modules, and so you'll be able to, instead of having to write this code and make your edits here, you'll be able to do it in a module with a graphical user interface. Will be much better. I said I'd change these back to 5, so I better do that. All right, so that's this tutorial. Hope you enjoy it, and if you are interested in learning more about CSS, I would recommend checking out our cssfordivi.com course. I believe it's only like $49, but you will learn how to write this code and so much more. You can check out the little demo or the marketing video here, and then there's actually a who is this course for? Make sure it's a good fit for you. And then down here, there's actually a sample project, where in this sample project, instead of having the default icon for Divi's Play, we swap it out with this graphic, this play video graphic. And we also do some nice hover color effects on it too. And so that's a free lesson that you could take. It's 15 minutes long. It's a free lesson, and then all the lessons come with the code pen. So you get the code right here, and it's easy to copy and use. So I hope you'll check that out if you liked this tutorial on how to do this here. And by the way, this method could be used outside of You could use this for something else. So keep that in mind too. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Cheers.